Now, you said you attended Pangos as well that year. What was the Pangos experience like? Because now this is not a underclassmen camp. This is a all classes camp.
Yeah.
So, what is that experience like? And this is your first time competing against national competition for a whole week straight, regardless of class,
Regardless
correct?
of class, yep.
So now, what is that like?
That camp is a little different in terms of, you know, like the Nike camp, Nike Skills 100. It's about, you know, playing, but it's about teaching the game. It's about allowing us to learn where we are, where we're trying to go. Pangos is, we rolling the balls out. These are the teams. Show us what you could do. We have the media. We have everything you might need. This is your times. Show us what you can do. And it's, and it's a free fall in terms of,
Were you able to identify that in real time? That
No.
There are different ways of camping?
No, the following year when we get to that, I was able to recognize that. But that year, I'm trying to, at Pangos, I'm trying to like play the right way. I'm trying to like play the right way. But you can't do that at Pangos to some degree. You have to like, it's like you say, you're rolling the balls out and every man for himself.
Yeah,
you gotta show
it.
what you could do. Because if you're waiting for anyone on your team to like play the right way, you're gonna get left. So and you're not gonna get the recognition that you're hoping to get.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. Nike Skills, you might be able to. Nike Skills is more emphasized playing the right way. To some degree, you still have to look out for yourself, but it's more emphasized because of the coaching, because of everything you're being taught throughout the week. But Pangos is pure. Show us what you could do. This is what you're here for. Show us what you could do.
Understood. And how was that experience like for you?
It was great. I'm seeing now, regardless of class, the best players in the country. I'm seeing them do things that like in person is like, damn, to some degree it's like, how am I ever going to do any of those things? Like, I got a lot of work to do. You've seen a lot of the media companies that you grew up watching, like Home Team Hoops was big back there. I'm seeing Home Team Hoops recording everyone. Yeah. I'm trying to get in the video a little bit so I can feel like so I can show people like, I was there. Like, I'm not lying. I was really there. I was with these people playing. Yeah. But it's it's to some degree it almost feels like it's a movie type experience. Like you try to be in the moment, but at times you catch yourself like, I'm at Pangos All-American camp. Like I grew up watching this camp as a kid, so it's surreal a little bit. Understood,
man. Now as the season wraps up, as the season wraps up, your 16U summer, spring. Do you guys make it to Peach Jam or?
Didn't make it to Peach Jam again.
Okay.
After our last session, we didn't play in the Peach Invitational. Once it was done, it was done. So it was about just working out and getting ready to go back to school.
Okay. Now walk us through your final 2 years of Macduffie. You got a junior year and you got a senior year to do over there. What were those final 2 years like?
That second year Macduffie is the first time I feel like I started, at the high school level, I was starting to figure things out. I was starting to realize who I am as a player, what my game was. Open gyms, that fall were crazy because, I was there. The kid Delano Band, who's on the Blazers, was there as well. James Booknight was there. Dana Tate, Richie Springs, Frank Capelag was there. So we had coaches coming in, and the open gyms were competitive.
Right. You guys had about, 6 high major guys?
Yeah, 6 high major guys. Open gyms were competitive. College coaches coming in, college coaches texting. So it was a great experience. We were able to get so much better that fall because we're playing against other high major players and in open gym every day. I started becoming more of a leader. That first year at Macduffie, I was really learning myself. In that second year, I was coming back as a veteran, having experienced that. I was returning, one of the better players returning. I became a leader.
Were all those guys new guys?
James was new. Dana wasn't new. Dana was going into his senior year. Delano was going into was returning, and we returned a lot of other guys. But that first year at Macduffie, I was like caught up in myself, and that's when another big thing Coach Jacques taught me. It's about being selfless and not selfish. And that first year at Macduffie, I was unintentionally selfish in terms of I only wanted to do good. I was thinking about myself and my own growth and my own journey in terms of like figuring things out for myself that I couldn't think about other people because I was figuring things out for myself. But that next year I really grew in terms of that aspect and just, making sure my teammates was good off the court, making sure we stayed out of trouble. And then on the court, maturity-wise, being vocal, being a leader, making sure I'm doing the right things, making sure I'm working hard so that if I expect other people to do it, I have to be doing it myself. So I grew a lot. And then We had a good year that year. I think we were one of the best teams in the knapsack that whole season. Like maybe in the AA, we might have been. I think we were definitely top 3 the whole season. We might have been undefeated for a long time. We were ranked in the national prep school rankings that year as well. Then some injuries derailed us. James had gotten hurt. Dana had gotten hurt. I had gotten hurt as well. So all 3 of us had gotten hurt towards the end of the year, and that kind of messed us up a little bit because by the time we all came back, it was around playoffs. We ended up losing in the first round. But the whole year we did. That was the first time where like I said, that first year I wasn't able to impact winning, but that second year we was able to really impact winning. So whenever one guy had an off night, the other guy was able to pick up the load, and we really was able to see, impact at winning at that level. So
understood. So basically, you guys and getting with those injuries biting y'all at the end of the year, basically kind of hindered y'all.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like if that didn't happen, we were rolling, and who knows what could have happened. And then that following spring, I played with PSA again, 17s. A lot of James played on my team. James Booknight, Cole Anthony was on that team. Joe Toussaint, Tyson Etienne, Joel Soriano, Isam Mustafa, Maxwell Lorca, Richie Springs also played with us. So Cole was probably one of the best players in the country. So all the cameras was always on us. That was also an experience.
What was that like? Being he finished the summer ranked number 2 to James Wiseman, number 1 ranked guard. Cameras following him everywhere. Media, rivals, 24/7, ESPN, college coach. What was that like being alongside the highest rated guard in the country and the rock star type thing surrounding him?
Well, first of all, it was well deserved because Cole, again, was doing things that like I was like, whether I was in the game or I'm on the bench, I'm like, nah, he's going crazy. Like he's untouchable almost on this court right now.
Yeah.
And then that was the first time as well where I really learned about playing a role in terms of on that team. Munch did a great job of making sure like telling all of us like, you guys might have been this and that in your high school team, but like this is for a joined goal of making PGM, and like it's clear who the best player is. It's clear who we all have to play off of. So that was my first time kind of like adjusting to playing a role in a complementary piece to someone else, because in Macduffie I'm playing that role. I'm one of that role, but here I'm trying to be a complementary role, but at the same time figuring out how to play at another high level. EYBL 17s is probably the highest level you could play in high school. So playing another high level, figuring out my recruitment as well. So things like that. It was kind of a lot of moving pieces going on at the same time that summer that I learned a lot.
Most definitely. Did you realize during that time that like you guys get certain access to things because Cole Anthony is on your team? Like say the invitation to the 8 or like things of that.
Like I think to PGM we was 500 and we got an at-large because Cole's on our team. They can't leave out Cole from PGM. So we definitely knew we were reaping some benefits of having Cole on the team, and none of us had no type of animosity either, because like Cole is like, some people might have a ranking and this and that, but Cole was well beyond deserved of his ranking. Like he was doing things that was amazing at that age, and so we all would be watching in awe sometimes of Cole, how he played. And at the same time, Munch was preparing us for college in terms of, like I said, just in college you're not gonna be able to do certain things.
Yeah.
So we was all trying to figure out what can we do at a high level to help us get to PGM, and at this level to help us prepare. And then that same summer I was able to, but when I got invited to some other camps, so I went to NBPA that year and I went to Pangos. When I went to Pangos, I had learned my lesson from the previous year. So I went into that camp like, I'm not doing any of that anymore. I get a rebound, I'm keeping it. I get the ball, I'm keeping it. Like, I'm gonna play the right way, and the right way is gonna be with me having the ball in my hand. So that's what I did that year, and then I ended up being 4th leading scorer in the whole camp.
Right.
And that camp had like number 1 picks. Cade Cunningham was there. Anthony Edwards was there. Evan Mobley was there. A bunch of those top Scotty Barnes was there. I made the top 30 camp that year as well. So from that camp experience, it told me like, again, like I said, it's about, I was measured how far I was at the beginning to how close I was now. And when I was at that camp, I realized the gap isn't as far as it was. And if anything, it's starting to get equal.
Yeah.
And because of my performance at that camp, I got invited to NBPA camp again. Not again, I got invited to that camp in Virginia. And that camp is similar to Nike Skills in terms of the schedule. It's structured. It's a lot of teaching. It's a lot of, talks where they having NBA players come talk to us about, this is what it's like at this level. This was like in college.
Right.
And at that camp as well, I had to keep some of the similar mindset.
Actually, pardon me, for people that don't realize, it's actually ran by the National Basketball Players Association. Yeah, and
there was actually NBA scouts there as well. So keeping some of that Pangos mindset, I was able to also have a good performance there. I think they did like a final rankings of everybody at that camp. I ranked top 5 in my position with some other people that was in, who ended up being NBA players, Precious, Scotty, Lewis, a couple other people, and I was able to I had a really good showing there as well as that camp in terms of just, again, measuring myself against who the top players in the country is, and realizing like I'm not far at all. If not, I'm right there in terms of skill level and talent with those best players if we just, roll the balls out and see who's who and what's what. So, and then you said the final year, Macduffie.
Yeah.
I'm returning now as a senior. This is my 3rd year. James Bouknight is returning. Frank is returning. And that year we was rolling as well. I think we was undefeated the whole year. And then again, at the end of the year, we had gotten hurt again. Injuries derailed us, where we missed some, and then they ended up, because we lost some games where me and James weren't playing.
Right.
They ended up giving us a lower seed when we were the 1 seed the whole year. We might have lost 3 games, and instead of giving us where we felt we deserved maybe a 3, we ended up being a 4, and we had to go play someone at a neutral site, where now, it derailed a lot of things. But, that was another great year in terms of, just maturity-wise.
A little bit short again.
Yeah, coming short again, but another year where I grew a lot. I was really, maturing on the court, maturing off the court, starting to put things together. I also had committed and signed to Wake Forest as well, where I went for my first 2 years of college basketball, and, just looking forward to that and realizing how far I've come and how far I've got to go, where now I felt like I really understood, had a way better idea of what this basketball thing was about.
What it was about.
Yeah.